Hi, my name is Patrick Green, and I am presenting my student presentation. I previously created a PowerPoint with slides and has audio on it, but after looking at some of your guys' presentations, you guys made a video presentation, so I'm going to be responding via video presentation and reading off my slides, and I attached my PowerPoint presentation along with my audio with that. So this is just another video presentation. So my topic is lowering class size in physical education. It's a huge passion of mine as being a physical education teacher, and I'm going to present my presentation as if I'm speaking to the Antioch Unified School District, in which I'm hoping to do uh, at a board meeting later on this year. So here it goes. Uh, Introductory statements. I believe that physical education should be deemed as important as other core subjects, and I also believe that classes in physical education should be smaller, like all other subjects, such as um, math, science, English, and history. Values, beliefs, and faith. Slide number 3. I believe that education should focus on the whole development of a student. So not just head knowledge, not just intelligence, but full body and mind. Education is meant to be shared and helped to the benefit of others. So we should not just gain all this head knowledge and just become smart and not use it, but it's meant to share so others can benefit from it and use that and apply that to their lives. It's important to be good stewards of our bodies and take care of them. I mean, God only gave us one of them, and once it goes, it goes. So we need to make sure that we take the best care of it as possible because we don't know how long that day comes when God asks us to come home. I believe that having great health allows us to have a higher quality of life, allows us to work better and longer, and allows us to also create a bigger impact in the world if we can, if we don't need to focus on our health, we could focus on others. And my one quote from the Bible comes from James chapter 1, verse 22. It says, "Dearly not listen to the word, and so be deceived yourselves, but do what it says." And I'm going to apply that to education as far as we need to listen to what we learn in our classrooms, from our degrees, from our research, from our professional development, and do what it says instead of just gain head knowledge and not do anything about it. So I talked about on slide number 4, purpose of physical education, and that's a focus of physical literacy, which means to be teaching our students to be confident and confident movers, and also teaching them to be more motivated to move. I talked about what a physically literate person means. There's 5 national standards, which involves demonstrating competency in a variety of motor skills and movement patterns, applying knowledge of concepts, principles, strategies, and tactics related to movement and performance, demonstrating the knowledge and skills to achieve and maintain a health enhancing level of physical activity and fitness, exhibiting responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others, and lastly, recognizes the value of physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self expression, and or social reaction. So, very lots of things unpacked while teaching lessons throughout the year and filling that in throughout a whole year. That comes from Shape America and their main philosophy right there. Fifth slide has a couple of different posts or posters on that and what are the benefits of PE in sport. And I listed 50 reasons to also exercise. Some of them would be have greater bone strength, reduce anxiety and depression, strengthening peer relationships, improves physical fitness, develops physical skills, reduces stress, increases brain function, improves classroom behavior, improves concentration, increases cognitive functioning, reduces obesity rates, improves memory, teaches important life skills, makes children feel valued, and increases confidence. My sixth strat was taught in PE. Just highlighted some of the main things as a physical educator that I try to do. and that's teaching mechanics of body movement, aquatics, gymnastics, tumbling, rhythms, dance, individual and dual and team sports such as invasion games, striking games, net and wall games, and target games, as well as combatives, and then as well as the fitness gram uh, for our our national state assess our main assessment. I talked about also on slide 7, Shape America's expectations of PE and the required minutes, 150 minutes for elementary a week, 225 minutes for middle school and high school. And then it also just talks about how we should not substitute other activities such as junior ROTC or being on a sports team for physical education time. It also just talks about, again, the main point of my topic is class size, and it needs to be consistent with that of other subjects. At least that's what Shape America believes, as well as myself. And that PE needs to be taught by a state licensed or state certificate teacher. I want to go above and beyond. I believe that you should have a degree in physical education in order to teach it. Uh, my main passion right now on Slate number 8 talks about just physical education the reputation and the lack of respect there is throughout the just our country and throughout the world. PE is considered less important than other subjects. It's held in low esteem. Has a lower status than of mathematics, English, and science. It's perceived as not as important. It's just playtime. It's time off from serious other subjects. Uh, it's treated as a non-subject or non-academic subject and as a release time for teachers. And I think all of that's just false, and that physical education has so much more meaning and so much more to give to each student, each person, that it should have equal respect and a higher reputation than it does. Slide number 9 talks about the need for PE, and I list a lot of statistics. And the main center of it is just obesity. And I talk about just Time Magazine came out with 2 articles this week about how child obesity has risen 10 times worldwide. 40% of Americans are obese, making one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. And 19% of young people are obese, um, as well as any kid born in the year 2000 or later uh, has a 1 in 3 chance to contract type 2 diabetes. Obesity puts individuals at risk for more than 30 chronic health conditions, and I list all those health conditions on my slide. And as well as this is the first generation right now, students that are born right now in America history to live fewer years than that of the ones that came before them. I mean, students and children are dying before their parents due to health reasons that could be avoidable. And the staggering number was $190 billion of health costs go to American healthcare with those that have who are obese. The main debate of why PE classrooms are so huge is whether it's a core subject or not. And I talked about the battle versus obesity. It should be a core subject. There is standardized testing, which I said is the fitness gram, which assesses the 5 components of fitness of muscular endurance, muscular strength, flexibility of body composition, and cardiovascular endurance. Talk about there's regulated minutes that we need to require. 50% of our class time needs to be involved in physical activity. There are national and state standards, just like other subjects. And lastly, Common Core is implemented into each subject, such as math, reading, and writing is implemented into PE, and each physical educator should be implementing that. If not on a daily basis, at least a weekly basis. Next slide, slide 11, I talk about class sizes and core subjects. I talk about California, average class size for K through third grade is 23. My district currently averages around 26, so I'm a little bit higher. And also throughout the state of California, stays under 30, average about 28 students. My district averages 30, caps at 33. But what's staggering is that my district does not have a cap for maximum class size. Um, so that's pretty scary. And then that my physical education cap is at 50 or less. I currently have 3 classes at 49, 1 class at 48, 1 class at 44, and a class at 10. I do teach a special student success class, and that's with students that have it's a PBIS class, a bunch of tier threes students, the ones that have the most suspensions in the school, and that's to make sure that they have a more focused classroom. Um, I talk about slide 12, talk about large P size class sizes and the effects of large P class sizes, and that's just not having safe and effective instruction. Um, Instructional time is less due to management issues, decreased practice opportunities because of a slower learning rate, decreased student time spent in activity. That's usually due to management issues or instructional time, and the decreased ability of a teacher to provide individual instruction. 50 kids in a class, very hard to come around and make sure that each kid gets adequate instruction and feedback that they need to improve and be and get the knowledge that they need. And lastly, is just increased opportunity for off-task behavior. Smaller kids, more opportunities to make sure that students are on task all the time. And if you're a teacher, you would know, kind of even just a class of 30, even in a regular classroom, that's hard to do. Slide 13 talk about the benefits of small class size, increased academic achievement. Smaller class size always equate to higher grades. Better safety, higher attendance. Students want to attend class more because they know they're getting that attention from the teacher. And discipline issues are less. As a P department goes into school, how a P department is, if they're successful, they're just gonna have a better better school climate, and there'll be less referrals, less suspensions if a P department is on full cylinders and making sure that they're doing the best that they can, and that also causes better teacher attrition and parent engagement. Parents want to be more involved with their kids, and teachers want to stay at their jobs. They're happier, they stay longer because of smaller class sizes. Slide 14, I talk about how to overcome large class sizes. Because I have such large classes, I talk about using small group work, cooperative learning, peer teaching and coaching, making sure that students are teaching and coaching each other. I have station work. I have task lists that they achieve, rubric checkoff lists that they do, implement different curriculum models such as teaching games for understanding, sport education, and cooperative learning, and I make sure I individualize instruction. I have instruction layered for special ed students, students on 504, students on ELs, and as well as my advanced athletic kids that want to be challenged. Um, and then my proposal that I want to speak to the board of Antioch Unified is I propose that 40 students or less in a physical education class for secondary classes. Ideally, I would like less, but I'm going to at least reach for 10 less than I currently do now, which would be a major step for improvement. I want to have the same number of students for an elementary class, K through third and fourth through fifth for PE, not adding more than what there is for a regular class for math, science, history, and English. And lastly, but most importantly, I want PE to have the same respect and recognition as other academic subjects. Alrighty. So hopefully that you have learned some things, that you have hopefully you're on my side, and you believe that physical education classes should be less. Now, how that should be done, that'd be very tough, and there's going to probably be some sacrifices that need to be made, tough decisions to be made. But more importantly, to get the ball rolling, to start thinking that physical education is equally as important. It has long-term values and short-term values and develops the whole person. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you can also be an advocate for physical education.